Anthony Special here with Special Analysis for another equity look here at Lennar Corporation, ticker LEN. We're going to take a peek here. We've tested some overhead resistance today. Not only did we test it, I wouldn't say we closed above it, but we certainly closed at it. That's for sure. So, what is this? Where does this leave us for what's next? That's always the great question: is what's next? Um, my intuition tells me that normally when we price overcomes an area of resistance and it doesn't overcome it with authority, when it lacks that 1+% confirmation, that tool that I use in all my trading, that normally there can be some type of retracement. It would not be completely unexpected. So just to dial in right here on the price action, you can see price right here tested two resistance yesterday, tested through it today, and really just closed pretty much right at it, that 99.15 mark. So we could see support down here in the 92.75 area. And it may not necessarily happen tomorrow. We could get a close here, a weekly settlement above. We could then get a retracement here, which would ultimately set a higher low. And that higher low would likely enforce the fact that this market is or this equity is grinding higher. Our 50-day is above our 200-day. MACD bias is long. Market breadth is long. Heat map is long. Buying volume is present. Coming from an area of the market being oversold, you can see relative strength is certainly rising. So, technically speaking, this is working pretty well. So we're going to have to see what happens here. Again, tomorrow we'll get a better feel for where this is based on a weekly settlement. And then we're going to either, again, look for potentially some support to come in at this ascending channel bottom here at 92.75, and that is rising ever so slightly, and approaching resistance at the overhead here, currently right about 107, 107, and just about 107, we'll call it that, for tomorrow, and also rising ever so slightly. Now, as this continues to transpire, we have a full channel extension overhead, and I normally identify the midline when I draw a channel extension because prices, more times than not, reactive to the midpoint, believe it or not. So when I see a breakout of a primary long-term channel, which is what we've been trading in here for quite some time, not only am I acknowledging that there's a shorter term channel structure here, which also, yields a decent return, but also I'm looking at, potentially this center line here of the extension as a profit taking, as a risk management approach to my position. Doesn't necessarily mean that I'm exiting all of my trade, but would I consider taking some profit? Yes. Would I consider moving my stop to break even or slightly into the profit? Yes, I would. That would obviously be contingent on whatever pivots are set here. So, at the moment where we currently sit, obviously we have support here. And the last low place, you get a nice impulse. You have some retracement here. This would be the low. And then you're in the midst of another impulse. Like I said, a close up here would not be out of the question, or a settlement rather, and then a correction into this area here. It doesn't break the trend. The trend would still remain intact. You could see that the market, here's a low. So you have a series of higher lows starting back here. So you have a low, you have a higher low, you have another higher low, another higher low. So another one placed in this area would not be out of the question. I just want to take the opportunity this afternoon to jump on this video, kind of walk you through what I'm seeing, let you know where we are, what my expectation would be in the next, I would call it 3 to 5 weeks. It would be acceptable to close up in this area. It would also be acceptable to retrace to the support area. So you have like a nice impulse, a correction, and then potentially that second impulse, that second break here would be the true confirmation of the most conservative entry thought process to buying this. Again, 250 prices certainly trending above. The bias of our odds enhancers are all to the long side. Like I said, the MACD's long. So it's just a thought process here, not necessarily an official buy signal. I am looking to see if this does set up. My anticipation would be a settlement above, perhaps a retracement back in. I'd like to then find that low. That low would be my stop placement. And then another break above would be my entry. And then my target would be overhead. So we'll look to this to see if we potentially use this in one of my programs or services. But it is on my radar, and I thought I would let you know what my thought process is. Anthony Special Analysis. If I can help you, that's what I'm here to do. Talk to you soon.